We'll start off our Module 8 notes by looking at page 39 in your book. This is the first page of this section, and I just want you to pay attention to it because there's a lot of information on here we're going to need throughout this chapter. You'll also be able to use this page on your quizzes and on your tests. So let's look at how we're going to use it. So here's one example from that page that we have 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. And we can write this as a unit fraction in two different ways. We can write 1 yard over 3 feet, or we can write 3 feet over 1 yard. And this is called a unit fraction because the top and the bottom are actually the same amount, and when you have the same amount on the top and the bottom, it's actually equal to 1. And that's why we call it a unit, 1 unit, and it's a fraction. So we could do the same thing with B. Maybe you've already done it, but we have 12 inches over 1 foot, or we could put 1 foot over 12 inches. Now, being able to do this is going to be important in this chapter, and then later on too. We're going to convert units using this idea with these unit fractions. Now, I want you to do this the way that I'm going to show you how to do it. We'll do a lot of examples in this section to practice it, but it's really important because if we learn that in this section, that will help us in the next section and later on in this course. And that way we only have to learn one method for converting instead of several different methods. So here's the idea. First of all, you look at your units. We have yard and feet. So you look at that page and you find something that tells us about yards and feet. And we know that we have 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So we start with this first part once we figure out this conversion. We start with the 4 yards and we're going to put it over 1, and we're going to put the units beside it. And we're going to write multiplication. Now we're going to write a unit fraction. Now if this yards is on top, we want the yards from our other equation to be on the bottom. So we'll write that 1 yard down here, and the other side of this equal sign will go on top for our unit fraction. When we do that, that helps because the yards that are on the top here and the yards that are on the bottom cancel out. As long as we have a unit on the top and a unit on the bottom, they cancel. And then we can just multiply fractions straight across. 4 times 3 is 12. We still have feet. And 1 times 1 is 1. And then 12 over 1 is 12 feet. So here's another one. Here we have ounces and pounds. And if you look back on the page before, we can see that it says on the top of the second column that 1 pound is 16 ounces. So again, we'll start with this side and we'll write 44 ounces over 1. It's always over 1 because 44 over 1 is the same as 44. We can put a 1 on the bottom and it doesn't change the value. Times, then we'll write another fraction here. Now here we have ounces on the top, so we want these ounces to be on the bottom. So we'll put 16 ounces on the bottom, and that leaves the other side to go on the top, 1 pound. And this is good because the ounces that are on the top and the ounces that are on the bottom will cancel each other out, and we can multiply straight across. 44 times 1 is 44. We still have pounds. And then 1 times 16 is 16. So then we need to do 44 divided by 16, and we get 2.75 pounds. So here's another one. Again, we look at our units, feet and inches. And on the left-hand side, very top one, it says 1 foot is 12 inches. So we'll start with this first piece, 6.25 feet, and we'll put it over 1, times. Now here the feet's on top, so here we want the 1 foot to be on the bottom. and then the part that's left will go in top. That allows the feet here to cancel out with the feet here. And then we'll multiply straight across. 6.25 times 12 is 75. We still have inches here at the end. And then 1 times 1 is 1. 75 divided by 1 is 75 inches. Okay, so here again we have yards and feet. The second line down on the left hand side says that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So again, we'll start with this side. I'm going to write 5.25 yards over 1. Again, you should know that 1/4 is the same thing as 0.25. Here the yards is on top, so here we want the yards to be on the bottom. This 3 feet that's left will go on the top. That allows the yards to cancel out because one's on top and one's on bottom. And then we'll multiply straight across. 5.25 times 3 is 15.75. There's a feet at the end. And then 1 times 1 is 1. So we get 15.75 feet. So here we have miles and yards. The fourth line down on your conversion sheet says 1 mile equals 5,280 feet equals 1760 yards. Now I know that this has 3 parts, but we can just use this part and this part for this problem. We can just pretend like this middle part's not here. So we'll start with this 2.1 miles, and we'll put it over 1, and then we'll have times. Now here miles is on top, so we want the miles to be on the bottom, so we have 1 mile to be on the bottom. And we're trying to change to yards, so we're going to use this other part with yards, and we'll put 1760 yards on the top. That allows the miles to cancel out because one's on top and one's on bottom. And we'll multiply straight across. 2.1 times 1760 gives us 3696 over 1 times 1 is 1. It's yards that are left. So we have 3,696 yards. So here we'll do the same sort of thing. Here we have square feet and square inches. So be careful, don't use the feet and inches. You need to look under the right hand side under area, and it tells us that 1 square foot is equal to 144 square inches. So we'll start with this 15 square feet over 1. Here the square feet are on top, so here we want the square feet to be on the bottom. The other side that's left will go on top. And that's good because here the square feet will cancel out. One's on top and one's on bottom. And then we'll take 15 times 144 and we get 2,160, and then 1 times 1 is 1. Still have square inches. So we get 2,160 square inches.